things on YouTube because then it's accessible for everyone. Okay, so welcome. Katie and Richard, I think that this might be it for tonight. So it's just the three of us.
Nice and intimate.
Nice and cozy, yeah. So yeah, anything you want to share before we start? Any thoughts, any questions? I know, Richard, you said you were feeling a bit overwhelmed. So
yeah, I've got so much at the moment that I'm behind, and as I mentioned to you earlier on, I think I'm the type of person that likes to kind of know where the path is, and how that I'm following the path, and I'm not. I suppose you can call it FOMO.
Fear of missing out.
I don't want to miss out on anything here, but so I want to follow the path properly to get the full benefits. But I've just got such a time crunch at the moment with so many massive projects that I'm busy with that I'm battling to fit everything in. Yeah. And on weekends I'm occupied with business stuff on full day Saturday. Literally wake up at 5 o'clock. Get back at 7 o'clock.
All day Sunday, yeah. So you don't really have a
pretty
weekend.
Much the same on Sunday, yeah. And I'm out on my feet all day, so it's quite demanding in that.
Yeah, well, what I said to you this morning on the phone is just go with whatever you can do.
Yeah.
And forgive yourself for not doing it perfectly, because no one is going to do it perfectly. I mean, what is perfect anyway? So you do it to whatever level you can do it, and you will get the benefit accordingly. Whatever you put in, you'll get out, and that's what you could do. You know what I mean? I know you want it to be like, oh wow, amazing, but then you've got all this other stuff going on in your life, and you can't just suspend that. So it's kind of integrate.
It's not only that, I just can't get enough time to fit it in, because it's quite big time chunks, that I need to dedicate.
Sure.
So by the way, what is perfect? Perfect is the enemy of good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I probably shouldn't be trying to do the perfect thing. I should be just squeezing it in
good
and
enough
just
for you.
Coming done.
Good enough for you right now. That this is going to help you right now, and you're going to do it as best you can. And like, there's lots of material, there's lots of recordings, so you do what you can. I would try and do the live sessions if you can, and try and do the breath breaks every day, because I'm sending these short recordings that are like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and you can do that. You can fit that into your day if you just do those. At the moment, we're just doing 2 a day, 2 practice periods a day. Then you're actually practicing the mind training exercise, which is
what I'm needing to do is I'm actually needing to change my schedule a bit in terms of my daily routine. So I need to, I tend to work at night. It's quieter. I can concentrate until I literally fall asleep at my laptop. And I think, we've all done that. It's, you just literally just run out of, the last electron seems to be out of your system. Well, I think you were 1 or 2 left just to get to bed, kind of thing. But I think I need to, get back into some very old routines and habits that I had. And I used to get up early and get to bed earlier. But I need to also manage that interval of proper sleep, from a health point of view, just to make sure I'm getting that and I'm able to allow my body and my brain to process properly and to pack it away and clean up whatever.
What you'll find is meditation. If you get into deep meditation, it really helps. You do need less sleep, so it's quite helpful if you're in a time stress situation where you need more time, because that meditation time gives you like a deeper. Whereas like I just did a half an hour, and I feel really refreshed. I'm actually fine.
Yeah, you look bright and breezy.
Yeah, and it's amazing. So if you look at people like the Buddha and so on, apparently he only slept 3-4 hours a night because he was meditating. He's like in this meditative state he probably wasn't working like we know at work, but he was in a meditative state a lot. He was doing Vipassana, and then he was talking to people, and he was dedicating his life to really just being of service. And it was like he just didn't need that much sleep. He was always available to help. So it's possible, if you meditation is another form of rest. Sleep is just rest. You rest in the brain. So if you get it in another form, then you don't need to sleep as much. It kind of makes sense. So if you get into a deep meditation practice through this course, it will probably help you to become more efficient. So like I can do 4 or 5 hours sleep a night and I'm fine. I tend to wake up after 4 hours. Just got into this. I'm meditating. I do at least an hour of deep Vipassana meditation, and it's amazing. It really does. You can feel it. It energizes you. It's like doing something on it, like on a level sleep doesn't do. It's interesting. It's like you're conscious. Well, sometimes I'll like go into like an alpha state, and I'll go into like a semi-sleep state, but it's like a power nap. So it's like 20 minutes or something of that, and then I'll go into the body scan where I'm just observing all my body, and my body's like on fire. It's just like like you can feel the flow of energy. It's like vibrating. When they say it's like a vibrational frequency, you really feel that. And so that's like life. I think you're tapping into the source of life energy, just like tapping into it. And now that comes in to your body and your mind, and it just refreshes you and it re-energizes you, because the source of life. We sleep not because the body has to rest. We sleep because the mind gets fatigued by all of this constant illusion, all this activity and the illusion, and then it's like, oh, I just gotta, I need sleep. I've got to tune out of this reality and go somewhere else. And then we rest and come back, and the mind can now cope again with the illusion that's created. So that's kind of what sleep is. So if you find if you can do it in meditation instead, it's a fantastic tool for health and well-being, and also productivity. I mean, like, I'm an extremely productive person, and it's because I've done these things and I've got these structures in place that allow me to do that. If I look at my siblings as like by comparison, one shouldn't really compare, but it's just interesting as a reference point. Like they don't do any of this, and they're just nowhere near as capable and productive because they haven't done all these practices, and so then they just tend to be in the very conventional. Okay, well, we've got to get a certain amount of sleep, and if I don't get 4 hours, if I don't get 7 hours sleep enough, I'm exhausted, and that's just not true. A lot of these things are mind conditioned, mind beliefs in the mind that we've set up. So yeah.
I have a question. So I wonder you said doing 1 hour Vipassana meditation is helping you to only sleep 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, every like once a week I sometimes feel like I need a longer sleep. But
what is longer sleep then for you?
Like 6 hours.
Okay, yeah.
6 to 7 hours.
Long sleep, yeah.
Relative.
Yeah, it's relative to what you were getting. So like on Saturday is my rest day. Then I'll be like, okay, well, I've got, I can sleep in a bit, and I'll sleep a bit longer. But I'll wake up after 6 hours or 7 hours. It just happens.
Well, that's amazing.
Showing me I don't need that much. But you upgrade your system. You see, if you do these yogic practices, I mean, my body, I'm intermittent fasting, so I'm not having a toxic load of, and the food I eat is clean food. It's healthy. It's mostly fruit and vegetables, and I'm not putting toxins in my body. Meditating, doing breath work. So it all upgrades your system, and so you don't get what makes you tired. You get fatigued by toxins, by poor thinking, by all kinds of lifestyle factors that tie you, and then you need more sleep because your body's got to now recover, and your mind actually it's got to process all this and deal with it. And
how much breath work do you do a day? Like, I just want to know. Okay, I want to try it out, like what you do. Like, and I have to know, like, okay, I need the details right now. What is he doing?
Well, honestly, I'm practicing mostly in the sessions. Because the session, I mean, these live sessions, we're doing like 3-4 hours a day. So that's all, spiritual practice. And as I'm guiding the meditations, I'm kind of going along, I'm going into that, I'm going to meditative state myself. And I'm kind of breathing myself to a point. I mean, I'm talking as well, so it's not perfect. But that's a lot of it. In the actual guided meditation, I go into a meditative state as well. And then I do my 1 hour vipassana, which is my own thing, which takes me and I do it lying down, because it's just like my whole body just starts vibrating. It's quite incredible. It's like you can feel that life energy, just like you've tapped into the source. And then I come and I'm like, I'm quite refreshed now. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. I can probably go for the whole night if I want to. It's just, it's interesting. I'm not suggesting that you do what I'm doing. It's taken me many years to kind of, I suppose, get to like where I'm able to do this. But if you do these practices, it does help you a lot. You will find if you're doing deep meditation and breath work and so on, you'll probably find you need less sleep. And your quality of your sleep will tend to be better. So I'll sleep very deeply. I think that's also a thing. Some people might sleep and they're not actually getting good sleep at all. Quality of sleep is poor because it's very light and they're not in a deep sleep. So I'll go, boom, deep sleep, 4 hours, it's really deep. And then I come out and it's like, okay, I'm kind of ready to go again. And usually I do a meditation when I come out of it as well. So meditation morning and then an hour of vipassana in the evening. And that seems to be quite a good.
And when do you go?
Yeah.
When do you go sleep? And so what time?
Well, I go until I finish. So to do all this
when
material.
Is it close?
So I spoke to Richard this morning.
It's close.
Yeah, when I finished. So I just go until I finish. And this morning it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. And then Richard phones and I'm like, I'm saying like, I've got to get a few hours sleep. Sorry.
Gosh,
No, it's not a normal routine. I get that, but it's like to produce this course and stuff. It's seeming like that's how I've done it. I've worked at night because in the day I just haven't managed to do it. And obviously there's a requirement to get your information out by the morning. It's like there's no good if it comes in the late afternoon or something. So early morning, right? Information's there. You've got your email. And I could just send it out as it is. I've got stuff, but I always try and improve it. I'm like, okay, well, what's the next iteration of this? Because if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? So now's the time. So every time I do it, I try and improve it. And so that's why, there's quite a lot of content. I get that. But so you can do a very deep dive into it. So you can immerse yourself in this content. You could spend hours a day on it, or you just pick and choose and you go, okay, well, I'll choose to do the breath breaks and the live sessions if I can, because that's what I can manage. And that's if you do that consistently over 6 weeks and you're joining a few live sessions a week and you're doing the breath breaks every day, that's a lot more than you would have done. You're going to get benefit from that.
And the Vipassana meditation, we do that when?
Well, it's kind of embedded into like this afternoon. You did the meditation. That was a Vipassana meditation primarily, because it was breath awareness. So that's how we started, and then we moved into body scanning, and then just going into a deep kind of a deep letting go state where you're just aware of the silence. In Vipassana, they just keep body scanning, which I think is again like these things.
MBSR, mind-based stress reduction, isn't that? I've done.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, mindfulness is just they've taken this ancient, meditation technique of breath watching and just observing breath and observing sensations, and just called it mindfulness. And then it's now been rebranded as mindfulness, and it's the same principles.
But do you know that like that like it was it's of John Kabat-Zinn?
Yeah, I know about John Kabat-Zinn, and I've listened to some of his stuff, and it was, remember, all this stuff originated in the East, and then in the sort of 60s and 70s, this all became kind of new age, and they took it and they went, okay, well, we need to call this something else, and mindfulness is quite a nice label, rather than Buddhism or Vipassana, or because that has connotations. Obviously, it's got a religious connotation. People are like, I'm not Buddhist, so they de-religionize it, and they say, well, we'll call it mindfulness, and great, I'm all in favor of that if it helps people do it, because really it's the practices and the principles that work. Like what you call it is irrelevant, really. God has no name. What you call God, well, you can call God whatever you want. God, Yahweh, the man on the moon, it doesn't matter as long as the name doesn't confuse you, and then as long as the name points you, in the right direction. So it's like whatever terms work. Language is the construct of the mind. Whatever terms work to help people to awaken and to do the work. So the mindfulness is, just another word for it. And it's based on breath watching. You watch your breath primarily. Just observe the breath. So, that's just in Vipassana, it's called Anapana. You just observe breath. And don't judge it, just observe the breath, allow whatever to come. If there's thoughts, emotions, sensations arising, you just observe and you don't judge and you don't interpret. Because then you're starting to go into the equanimity, which is the essence of the practice of Vipassana, is to have this equanimous mind, calm, equanimous mind that's not reacting to sensations and not reacting to thoughts, not reacting to sensations. And the practice just builds that, so that then you take it into your daily life and you're much more equanimous than you would have been.
Yeah. No more questions on me right now. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, all good. Well, shall we we could start off tonight with a meditation, if you like. Shall we do that? We'll go into a meditation. I'll guide you through some Vipassana / body scanning and breath watching, so you get an experience of it. And Richard, I don't know if you've done this, but yeah, it'll be refreshing for you. And then we'll go into discussion of, we'll look at the lesson again, because Richard didn't do this afternoon session. It's very short. And then we'll go into the text. Okay, so just making yourself comfortable. Sitting with your feet shoulder width apart. Back straight. Cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes and start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So you're breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises, chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clenching the sphincter muscle. It's the muscle you use to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. You lock the energy in. You draw it up your spine into your heart center. Put one hand on your heart. Just to connecting with your heart space. Bring your attention into the present moment through these sensations of the breath. And then draw this up into the crown of your head. Pausing at the top of the inhale. And use the opportunity to scan your mind. So just noticing any thoughts, emotions, and sensations going on. Particularly anything that feels at all negative or limiting, contracted, constricting. Just notice. That feels like. And if it's not helpful, it's not serving you, you can choose to let it go. Because ultimately all thoughts and all emotions and all sensations are a choice. Your experience is up to you. So I'm going to exhale out through your mouth. Have a sense of just releasing that thought, that emotion, that sensation. Feel the energy leaving you. You might visualize a dark gray or black smoke leaving your mouth. Letting it all go and all the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And just appreciate the calm and the stillness at the bottom of the exhale. In between breaths, you've got this wonderful opportunity to access eternity, a little portal to eternity. So appreciate it, smile, and then breathe in again. So you're just going to watch the breath. Observe the breath. Start off by observing the stomach rising and the chest rising. And the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. So you'll connect the present moment. Just focus all your attention on the breath. Sensations of the breath, stomach rising, chest rising, air flowing in through the nostrils. Pause briefly at the top of the inhale. And then you exhale, just release. And it'll go. Nothingness that it really is. Just blowing away any distractions, any obstacles. The breeze of your breath. And then go into the nothingness they really are. And getting quieter and calmer and more still. Each breath, just letting it take you deeper, deeper, deeper and deeper into the stillness and the quietness. Nowhere else to go, and there's nothing else to do. Nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, and be still. And observe the breath to keep your mind occupied in the present moment. So the breath is a fantastic mantra. Keep your mind in the present moment. You just observe subtle sensations of your breath flowing in through your nostrils and then out through your nostrils. Focus all your attention on the sensation in your nostrils. And there's also a sensation on the tip of your nose, maybe this little area, bridge between your nostrils. Notice that. Noticing the very subtle sensations that maybe you've never noticed before. Just sharpening your awareness. Getting clearer and lighter, freer. So sink into this awareness. Deeper and deeper with each breath. Just observe the subtle sensations of the breath. Full, couple of minutes of silence. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, and be still. Watch your breath. When thoughts come, you just dismiss them, they're irrelevant. It's about the past and the future, what you should do, what you could do, what you should have done. It's a past future channel. You want to just lay that all aside. Surrender into the present. A couple of minutes of deep silence. As you just watch your breath. The breath anchor you into the state. Any thoughts arise to seemingly disturb your peace and take you away from the present moment into the timeline, past, future. You should have done, could have done, would have done, or what's still to come, what you need to do, what you want to do, what you expect to do, what you desire to do, what you feel will happen. These are all past and future thoughts. In truth, they're not there. You just observe them casually and just blow them away. Blow them away with the breeze of your breath. And nothingness they really are. The clear blue sky of your true awareness just shines through. And your breath awareness just allows this to shine through and so to release any negative thoughts, any thoughts whatsoever. And so just gently bringing yourself to an awareness of the body. So just scanning the body, starting off with awareness of crown of your head. Bring your attention into the crown of your head. Just notice the sensation in your crown. Whatever's going on. Slight tingling, slight itching, prickling, whatever the surface sensations are. Notice those. And then also notice on a deeper level that there's some kind of tingling, life energy, so you can tap into that. So notice that energy in the back of your head, any sensations on the skin, the scalp. Notice what's going on in your forehead, the face, the jaw, your ears, the mouth, kind of the inside of your mouth is their taste. Just notice all these sensations. Sensations of the breath and sensations of the body. And let it take you into the present moment. Just focusing 100% attention on your sensations. You're letting the breath just happen. Set that in motion. You're just breathing this nice, deep, slow, rhythmical, diaphragmatic breath. And the breath is just doing its things. Arising, subsiding. It's called a foundational system. You just put it in place, you let it go. Now we're going to focus on the sensations of the body. So, noticing you're feeling in your neck and your shoulders. And if there are any areas of tension that you're feeling, just breathe into those, creating some space and some light. Some awareness, and then when you exhale, just let go of whatever that feeling is. Contraction, constriction in your neck and your shoulders. You just release it and you should feel a nice tingling feeling, tingling sensation happening in the neck and shoulders. So bring your awareness down to your neck and shoulders, into your upper arms, to your triceps and your biceps, and just notice what's happening on the surface of the skin, as well as what's going on deeper. So feel like your awareness is kind of penetrating more than the skin deep into the cellular structure. Feel this awareness in your upper arms, your triceps, and your biceps. Down through your elbows, to your forearms, your wrists, your hands, and your fingers. Feel the life energy, so the flow of life happening when you're starting to become aware of this life essence that underlies the physical body. It's what animates the body, gives it any life at all. So you're tapping into it, you're experiencing it in the body, but through the body, but points you beyond the body. Notice the sensation flowing through your hands, fingers, your hands, back of your hands, your wrists, forearms, underside of your forearms, elbows, your upper arms, your triceps and your biceps. I feel like this flow of energy penetrating through from the one side of the body to the other, the one side of the arm to the other. It's just this penetrating life essence. You're starting just to become aware of. It's always there, but awareness is necessary if you're unaware. Practice like this just brings you into an awareness of what is already there, the life essence that has always been there, but has not been recognized. So let your awareness flow through your neck and your shoulders, breathe into them. And then you notice if there's any tension there, any gross sensations, and it feels unpleasant, observe it quantumly, and then you exhale. Just have a sense of letting go, releasing. So the tension drops away, getting more and more relaxed with each breath. Keep the breath flowing just in the background unless I instruct you otherwise. That's a deep, slow, rhythmical diaphragmatic breath. Just letting it take you deeper and deeper into yourself. So let this awareness run down from the chest and your middle back into your lower back, stomach, your groin, something. Primary awareness, life arising, to observe whatever the sensations are on the skin and go more than skin deep. What does the body feel like from the one side to the other? Maybe you can become aware of the subtle life energy. And you notice some heat, some warmth. It shows you this life essence is there always. Just need to be aware of it. So let your attention flow down to your lower stomach, through your groin, your buttocks, your upper thighs, the back of your thighs, down through your knees, your shins and your calves, ankles and your feet and your toes. So feel the life essence running from the tips of your toes. Breathe in. One breath, sweep your awareness through your feet, your soles of your feet, through shins and your calves, your knees, your thighs, through your groin, your buttocks, your lower back, stomach, to the chest. We're just going to stay here in your heart center. One hand in your heart, that's helpful. And just notice the sensations of the body in this quiet state. So wherever there's any kind of sensation, just observe it. This is the essence of equanimity. You just observe. There's no mental interpretations, no judgments. Just observe, and in that equanimity you find peace. Peace that passes all understanding is called in the Bible. So just for a couple of minutes, you just zoom out and you just observe the body holistically. Get a sense of it's one field of energy, and no other part that's separate from another part. Any thoughts arise, any sensations arise, just observe them. Just a pure witness. You are not the sensations. You are not the thoughts and emotions. Just observe whatever arises. And smile. Be present and just release. You can use the breath to help these thoughts and emotions on your way. Just enter into a timeless state, eternal state of mind. And the mind wants to wander, start thinking past and future, and anything really is irrelevant. Just bring it back. It's awareness of the breath, awareness of the body, either the whole body or just focus on one area. Maybe the heart center or the crown. Focus on that area and then move your awareness down the body or up the body. Just 100% in the moment. And stillness. So another couple of minutes of deep silence. And so just very gently bring your awareness back into the body. Maybe you just drifted away there a little bit, went deeper into your mind, beyond the body. Notice how nice that was. Now it's time to come back to the body. The senses and the breath, they took you into the meditation. They'll bring you out. So on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Scan your mind, notice any thoughts, any emotions going on, any sensations in the body. Observe it all equanimously, without reaction. These things cease to have their power over you. So you exhale out through the mouth, just sigh it all away, sigh it all out. Let it go into nothingness that it really is. Notice how the energy subsides back down the front channel of your body, the stomach, groin, to rest there. And count to 2, noticing the weight of your body pressing down to the chair, touching the ground, noticing what you're feeling and touching with your hands, noticing subtle sensation on your skin. Breathing in again, noticing the airflow into your nostrils, notice any smell in your nose, any taste in your mouth. And notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state. In which nothing really means anything. You don't give anything a meaning. You just observe sensations. So on the count of 3, as you open your eyes, you're going to look around, and we'll just do another bit of mind training for today's lesson. So as you look around, say to yourself, nothing I see in this room means anything. Just say that slowly and deliberately to yourself. And then look slowly around you and just practice applying the idea very specifically to whatever you see. Don't try and see anything, just whatever your eyes happen to rest on. So this table does not mean anything. You say that very slowly and deliberately. And then this chair maybe does not mean anything, or this hand does not mean anything. This foot does not mean anything. So you look at your hands and your feet. Maybe you've got a pen on the desk. This pen does not mean anything. This computer does not mean anything. This mobile phone does not mean anything. Let's notice how you feel when you say these statements. And then look further away from your immediate area. Apply the idea to a wider range. So say that door does not mean anything. That body does not mean anything. Lamp does not mean anything. Curtain does not mean anything, and so on. If the idea, just do that for half a dozen objects. Notice how you're feeling mentally and emotionally while you do it. So same thing, observe sensation, observe emotion as you do this. And one more time, just to close out the exercise. So nothing I see in this room means anything. And that's it for the mind training exercise. Jesus suggests you don't spend more than a minute. Very simple. You're just starting to reprogram, starting to undo the meaning that you give things. Because that meaning is what creates our perceptions of things. So just ask you to all unmute. So welcome, Iona. You came in with about 10 minutes into the meditation, so you got quite a bit of that. So nice to see you again.
Thank you.
That was like a quick change. Katie disappeared and Iona came in.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome. Whoever's showing up is showing up. So thought given Richard didn't do the lesson, maybe we'll just have a little look at this. So it's actually a very simple idea, as you see, Richard. Nothing I see means anything. And then just applying it to specifics. And then he says, well, maybe read paragraph 1.3, if you can, just so you kind of get an idea of the methodology, because the methodology is repeated every day. The next few lessons. Can you read from paragraph 3?
Oh, you want me to read it aloud? Sorry, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Notice that these statements are not arranged in any order and make no allowance for differences in the kinds of things to which they are applied. That is the purpose of the exercise. The statement should merely be applied to anything you see. As you practice the idea for the day, use it totally indiscriminately. Do not attempt to apply it to everything that you see, for these exercises should not be ritualistic. Only be sure that nothing you see is specifically excluded. One thing is like another as far as the application of the idea is concerned.
So just giving us some instructions for how to do it, and this is repeated tomorrow. So don't attempt to apply it to everything. Don't be ritualistic. Don't exclude anything particularly. So just whatever happens to be in your sight, you look at it and you say, well, you apply it to that to that object. It's trying to teach us that this applies indiscriminately to everything. Because what we tend to do is we pick and choose. Our perception is very selective. So we pick and choose and we'll apply certain things to certain ideas to certain objects. And we select. And he's saying, no, that's not going to get you back to oneness. You need to see that actually underlying all of this, there's just one awareness. And these exercises are designed to train us in that awareness. And then he says, just, don't do more than 2 or twice a day, preferably morning and evening. So you asked me what you should do these exercises at least. It's a very minimum. And to start with, he's only asking for a minute or 2 at a time. I send out a breath break, which is a little bit longer. It's a few minutes, but it's not really a big deal. It's like 5 minutes twice a day. And that's just starting to get you into some kind of pattern of mind training and meditation. And he's saying just do a minute or so. So roughly a minute, unless that entails a sense of hurry. A comfortable sense of leisure is essential. So it should be very comfortable. There's no sense of rush. And it's actually quite a pleasant exercise to do. And if you notice you get any reactions to anything, if there's any kind of, you go, oh, I don't quite believe that with this. So Iona, maybe you want to share your story of your cat this afternoon, just as an illustration of that.
Okay, there was going to be a very loud noise in the background, but yeah, my story of the cat was that I was doing the exercise, and then my gaze happened upon my beloved 16-year-old cat, and there was certainly a charge when I said that cat does not mean anything. There was my emotional charge.
And you notice it straight away, don't you? Like there's something more when I say that, as opposed to when I say that about a door or something that really is pretty neutral to me. So it's observing that. And as he says, use your reactions. Nothing more than that is required. So just to go back, now really, Richard, what he's saying here, I don't know if you've read the workbook lesson, but he's saying just use whatever's happening. So you might find this hard to believe, may seem to be quite startling. You find some resistance arising. This doesn't matter. You're merely asked to apply the ideas as you're directed to do. So he's saying just follow the instructions, do the exercises. Don't judge them at all. You're asked only to use them. And as their use, it will give them meaning to you and will show you that they are true. And then maybe you want to read paragraph 9 for us, because that's a nice kind of conclusion.
Remember only this: you need not believe the ideas, you need not accept them, and you need not even welcome them. Some of them may actively resist. You may actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy. But do not allow yourself to make exceptions in applying the ideas the workbook contains, and whatever your reaction to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than that is required.
So it's saying just do it. Do it. Whatever is arising, whatever the resistance is, just do it anyway, and use those reactions as part of the.
Does Nike know that they're not the original? He's just saying just do it.
Yeah, I think they probably do. They just coined it's actually a Zen. Just do it is a Zen statement, really, spiritual.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Zen Buddhism. It's all about just being in the moment and just doing it, and not having interpretations and judgments. And you're just completely present, and I'm just doing it. So Zen saying is before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So I'm just doing it. It's just the state that I'm doing it is different. I'm enlightened, then the chopping wood and carrying water, there's no sense of any kind of stress or any kind of resistance to that activity. Before I'm enlightened, I might have all kinds of thoughts and emotions about the activity. And that's the flow state. Being in flow is just you're not judging. You don't expect an outcome. You haven't given it a meaning. It just is what it is right now. And it's actually very enjoyable when you're in that state. So I'm doing something, and I'm doing it for the sake of the experience right now. There's no outcome that I'm seeking from this. That's the pure flow state. And then the ego tries to come in and give us outcomes and goals and objectives, and that takes us out of the moment into the future. It takes us out of the now. So yeah, any comments on this particular lesson? So I'd read this. We've been through this. I'm going to go through the whole thing, but you got the crux of it. He's really saying just don't make exceptions as well. Don't make exceptions. Just do the lessons as you instructed, and the lessons themselves meet the requirements for the training.
Mhm.
The overall aim of the exercise is to increase your ability to extend ideas you'll be practicing to include everything. This will require no effort on your part. The exercises themselves meet the conditions necessary for this kind of transfer. So in other words, he's designed the exercises so that your perception expands to everything. You apply ideas to everything. Because he's a good teacher. He's designed the exercise to do what he wants them to do. So, and don't interfere with transfer of training by selecting and saying there's certain things and people and situations that don't apply. Ideas are universally applicable, even if you find resistance to applying them in a specific situation. Then just notice that resistance, observe it, and okay, I'm okay with it. It's fine. Okay, so any thoughts on the exercise? Any questions? Does it kind of make sense? Is it a bit weird for you?
I remember when I first came across this idea, I thought it was absolutely outrageous. So it's a good, when I'm coming back to it, reminding myself, waking up more, it's more acceptable. Could you just flick the screen up, because there was a sentence that I hadn't noticed about the training of the world.
Okay. In this lesson, we're in lesson 1, or in the introduction?
So where might that be?
I think you might be thinking about the introduction.
I thought I just saw it just now as you flicked up.
Okay, the training of the world.
Yeah.
Like the right at range, and it doesn't really talk about the world. It's just very specific.
Wow, that's interesting. I think that must have just flashed in front of my brain.
Yeah, you saw something.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
A retraining of the whole world.
He talks about it here. He talks about transfer of training. In this, their transfer of training does not proceed. That's where it is.
That's it. Transfer of training and true perception does not proceed, as does transfer of the training of the world. What does that mean?
What do you think it means?
Transfer of training and true perception does not proceed as transfer of the training of the world.
Well, what does worldly training involve?
Yeah, got it. Okay, conditioning, robotic acceptance.
And it's very specific. Training of the world is usually very specific. Okay, so I'm doing a training course in this. I'm going to learn this skill. I'm going to learn this technique. I'm going to learn this whatever course. You can do degrees. I'm going to learn engineering, or I'm going to learn accounting.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it's a specific training. So now I have a specific skill set because of this training. And he's saying this isn't what this training is about.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah, thanks.
If perception has been achieved in connection with any person, situation, or event, then total transfer to everyone, everything is certain. Because it's all encompassing. That's the idea, that there's no specificity here. He starts off with a specific. He's saying apply it to the table or the chair or whatever you're saying, but he's using a specific so that you can learn that it's generalizable, that this is true always to everything. So it's different from the training of the world, of the ego.
Got it.
In that respect, because it's all inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
His training of the world is like, no, you're going to learn a specific thing, and that's different from other things, right? So you're going to learn accounting. Accounting is not engineering.
Absolutely,
or law. And so these are different fields, and now you specialize, and accounting is not necessarily applicable to law or to philosophy or to art, or these different domains of learning that we've created, we've invented. In fact, often they're not. An accountant is probably not going to make a very good artist, for instance. It's a different thought system. And he's saying this training is all encompassing, and it applies to everything. There are no exceptions.
Maybe an accountant could do painting by numbers.
Yeah, maybe. Richard's an
Careful, there's
accountant.
two of us here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have an accountant. We have a.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did accounting, but I never became an accountant. So
Okay.
I was very careful. It's like, okay, I've studied this stuff, but yeah, I'm not sure I want to become an accountant. That's not doesn't feel really like it resonates too much. And you didn't either. You didn't do the
No, I
boarding.
didn't.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also
Just part of
ended
you was
up
like, no, doesn't.
coming to my senses.
Yes, it's like, why would I want to train? It didn't make sense to me. It was like, why would I want to train to do something I don't really want to do?
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. So I did it enough to know that I didn't want to do it. And then I was like, okay, well, what's the point of going further with this? I don't want to do this. Oh no, it's a good grounding, it's a good background. I'm like, forget that. I don't want to do it. I want to go play squash instead. Okay, so you're clear on that. Any other questions on this, on the lesson? Otherwise, let's dive into the text, shall we? So this is chapter 2, section 1. The chapter is called The Separation and the Atonement, or the At-One-ment, as I prefer saying it. And we have the origins of separation. That's what this particular section is called. So what we're going to practice with this is, as you read, do a translation. I think the easiest way to do it is do it as you read the sentence. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. To extend is a fundamental aspect of God, which he gave to his son. So in that, there are two terms that actually three, because there's a he as well, that need retranslation. So to extend is a fundamental aspect of, and you can choose love, you can choose oneness, or you can choose pure formless awareness, whichever kind of seems to work in the context. They all mean the same thing, really. They're just pointers. So to extend is a fundamental aspect of pure formless awareness, which it, rather than he, because the truth is pure formless awareness has no gender. So we remove the gender component by doing it as an it, which it gave to its extension. Okay, so the Son of God is the extension of this pure formless awareness. And so then if you say it in that way, I think it just becomes a lot more understandable, because you're pointing with those words, with that language, to what's actually happening in the mind. The terms are just placeholders, which have a lot of loaded meaning for a lot of people. God has loaded meaning because we've all had an experience of God from a young age, and often that's in a religious context. And so then we go, well, is this meaning that same version of God that I grew up with in my religion? No, it's not. And the Son of God, again, can be confusing for people, especially if you come from the Christian teaching. Jesus was the only Son of God. Now he's talking about the Son. Again, that's masculine, not feminine. So it just removes all of that, and you remove the duality that's inherent in using some of these terms with the gender, and take it back into, it's just a presence that is formless. And so if it has no form, then it has no gender. Very clearly, gender is of the form, it's of duality. So you get the idea. We're going to do that. God is love, or oneness, or pure formless awareness. The Son of God is the extension of that presence. Holy Spirit is just the remembrance of the awareness of oneness, if we come across it. But I think he's only working, looks like he's only got God and the Son of God here. So those are the kind of key terms in this God and Son of God. So then just read it normally, and then translate it, and then carry on. And then we'll discuss it. I'll ask you for any comments or questions, and then have a little discussion on each paragraph. Okay, so Richard, you want to start off for us?
Okay, so go as it is now, and then go and redo it with the substitutions. Did you say?
Yes.
Go
Yeah.
fast?
Sentence by sentence. So you don't have to repeat the sentences that don't need retranslation. Just go, okay, if there's God and Son in it, then stop at the end of the sentence and just do the retranslation.
Okay, so I just want to check. God is pure formless awareness.
Yeah. Or you could call it unconditional love, or you can call it perfect oneness. So any of those terms. It's just an alternative to God. But stick with pure formless awareness, if that works for you.
And then and which are the other ones?
Son.
Son, was that Son? And Son is what? Awareness
Extension.
of
Son is the extension of the pure formless awareness. Okay? So that's the idea.
What do you call it? Extension of. Oh, okay.
Because it's an extension. So if you are pure formless awareness, you're just an extension of that presence that we call pure formless awareness. Yeah. Your mind is that awareness. So you're not separate from that awareness.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just wanted to try and get the code matching.
Yeah, it's terminology.
Yeah, just to know which ones were to be substituted.
Yeah.
To the extent that sorry, where am I going here? Oh, yeah. To the extent.
To extend.
I'm trying not to put on glasses because I hurt my eyes, but.
Okay, it's fine. I'm
just going to make. No, I'm actually going to stretch my screen a bit because it's not full screen.
Yeah.
But it's
I'll make this at 150%. So there we go.
Okay, now you're saying I'm blind. Okay, to extend is a fundamental aspect of God, which He gave to His Son. To extend is a fundamental aspect of pure formless awareness, which He gave to His extension of pure formless awareness.
Yeah. So just translate the He as it. He becomes it, and it gave to its extension.
Oh, okay.
So kind of and then it makes total sense. To extend is a fundamental aspect of pure formless awareness, which it gave to its extension. I mean, that's
I thought you wanted to substitute Son with that whole thing rather than it and.
Yeah, just Son is just its extension.
Yeah,
because you don't have to repeat.
In the creation, God extended Himself to His creations and imbued them with the same loving will to create. In the creation, pure formless awareness extended Himself to His creations and imbued them with the same loving will.
Change the him to it. So it's instead of him.
Okay.
Yeah, to itself.
I think I need that power now. In the creation, pure formless awareness extended Himself and His
itself.
No, I've lost it. No, hang on. Extended
itself.
Help me there. What am I?
Itself.
So Himself, you want itself.
Yes, because it's not the gender. There's no gender.
Yeah. No, I'm just.
The hims and the hises and so on become it, because pure formless awareness has no gender.
Yeah. Pure formless awareness extended itself to its creations and imbued them with the same loving will to create. You have not only been fully created, but have also been created perfect. There is no emptiness in you. Because of your likeness to your Creator, you are creative. So creator, am I going back to pure formless awareness?
Creator, you can use creator, or you could use source. It's quite a nice one. Source as a retranslation if you want.
Okay.
So because of your likeness to your source,
you are creative. No child of God can lose this ability because it is inherent in what he is, but he can use it inappropriately by projecting. No child of pure formless awareness or unconditional love, I
So
would
instead of
understand.
child, you could use extension. No extension of pure
No,
formless
flip.
awareness.
Yeah. You can see I'm not concentrating here.
No,
Uh,
you got to be sharp.
yeah, no, I'm more. I've had a
Okay.
weekend.
You're
Okay,
doing
so
well.
no extension of pure formless awareness can lose this ability because it's inherent in what it is.
No, what
And
he is. No.
what he is. So.
Because in the extension, he's referring to people. Yeah. So he uses the masculine gender rather than the feminine one. You could say what she is, but either way, you're going to be excluding half of the human race. So it's just how it goes. So when it's a small, you translate the capitalized, but not the small ones, because capitalized refers to God and small refers to the Son of God as us in our human form, seemingly.
But you can use it inappropriately by projecting. The inappropriate use of extension or projection occurs when you believe that some emptiness or lack exists in you, and that it can fill, and you can fill it with your own ideas instead of truth. This process involves the following steps.
Okay, so
9.
stop there.
Yeah.
No, just stop there. We'll stop you there and just. This is actually a very long paragraph. So, any thoughts on that? Does it make sense?
I haven't really taken it on board, quite honestly, just because I was tied up in trying to get the translations. I haven't really focused on it and understood it.
Okay.
The extent of this fundamental aspect of God, which He gave His Son in the creation of God, extended Himself, same loving will to create.
And you understand what he means about extension? What that means?
Yeah, I think I do. I was actually wondering about the projecting aspect of it, which I think would be your ego to be the.
So it's the ego's distorted version of extension. So love extends and the ego projects. Because the mind extends or projects. That's just the nature of the mind. So the inappropriate use of extension, as he says, is he calls projection. Because we believe that there's some emptiness or lack exists in you. So you don't feel whole, you feel empty, you feel somehow lacking. And that lack you can fill with your own ideas instead of truth. So these ideas coming from yourself being the ego, your own ideas instead of truth. And that's how projection comes about. So projection is false. Projection means that there's a false idea, false belief, which is based on the idea of separation. So I think I'm a separate self. And now from this idea of my separate self, I now project outwards these beliefs into the world, and I impose those beliefs on the world. And now he's going to say, this is how this process works. This process involves the following steps. Okay. So maybe someone else read that. Katie or Iona, want to read those steps?
I wanted to ask you, I'm just writing the message that my internet connection is bad, so I think I need to join via phone, and the connection is better. Do you know how I find out the German dial-in number? I tried and I didn't know where to look.
I looked on the Zoom website, and you asked me this a while ago, and I sent it to you, and you said it didn't work. So I don't know. I don't know if I've got the right Zoom subscription. See, I think they charge extra to be able to join via phone. I'm not sure.
Ah, yes.
See, like I'd have to upgrade to the whatever Super Pro or whatever they call it. which I haven't done because no one's ever needed it, to be honest. So just yeah, persevere with it. We can hear you now, so seems to be okay. And if you can get a better Wi-Fi signal, that's always good. And do you have a computer? Your ideal is to plug in to the Wi-Fi with an Ethernet cable. That's going to be your most stable connection. That's what I do. Because Wi-Fi can fluctuate and mobile signals fluctuate. Okay, so sorry, a little technical digression there. So maybe Iona, you read from First You Believe.
Yeah, first you believe what pure love created can be changed by your own mind. Second, you believe.
So let me just pause there. I think read it first as it is, and then
Yes.
and then translate it. That's going to be easier.
First, you believe that what God created can be changed by your own mind. First, you believe that what pure love created can be changed by your own mind. Second, you believe that what is perfect can be rendered imperfect or lacking. Third, you believe that you can distort the creations of God, including yourself. Third, you believe that you can distort the creations of pure love, including yourself. Fourth, you believe that you can create yourself and that the direction of your own creation is up to you.
Okay, so do those distortions, I mean, they're insane, but do they make sense? Does it make sense that this is what the ego does?
Yeah, that feeling of being entirely separate, alone, and that your own success in life or direction is up to you. That there is no backup team. And I remember imperfectly from the Course in Miracles. It said, if you're relying on your own strength, you've every reason to feel exhausted. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, so be careful. He does say that.
Yeah.
You have every reason to believe that, because your own self, the self that believes that what God created, what pure formless awareness created, can be changed by your own mind, is a very fragile self.
Yeah.
Set against the truth, because it must deny the truth in order to carve out this little identity for itself. And you believe what is perfect can be rendered imperfect or lacking. This is a fundamental contradiction in the ego's thought system. If this is perfect, and then you believe it can be made imperfect, which it can't be. But if you believe it can, then that's your belief. That's what this all comes down to.
Yeah.
If you want to believe in imperfection and lack, then you can believe that all you want. It's possible, but it's never going to make you happy. This is what he's saying to us.
Yeah, the disbelief that this is perfect, that this is so amazing, there must be something wrong. That's the ego in full swing, surely.
Yeah, the ego can't believe in perfection.
Yeah.
Perfection is its undoing.
Yeah.
Its whole identity is based on imperfection.
Yeah.
So thirdly, you believe that you can distort the creations of God, or pure love, as you put it, including yourself. So you now have this self-given power to distort pure formless awareness and make it into something else, including yourself. That you are now not that, which is inevitable. You can't start messing with reality like this and not have it affect yourself. It's going to profoundly affect your self-concept. And finally, you believe you can create yourself. Direction of your creation is up to you. So there's this idea of create your, in fact, Lifeful, when we started way back when, it's like now about 17 years ago. And I was originally partners with a guy who did motivational speaking. It was very much the personal growth, that's how it started. And our slogan was recreate yourself. And as I evolved in my own understanding, I was like, no, that has to change, because that's not the case. You don't recreate yourself, right? You were created by God, by formless awareness, and that's your identity. You become aware of that. There's an awakening to what you already are, but that's not the same as recreating yourself. The ego is always trying to recreate you in its own image. Mm-hmm. So it's quite happy that you have one identity, and that one false identity, and then you want to shift and morph into something else, and you'll shape shift and you'll adopt another identity. People do this often many times in their lives. Oh, well, now I'm a stroppy teenager. Now I evolve into a successful yuppie. Now I evolve into a father or a mother. Now I evolve into someone who's having a midlife crisis and having an affair. Now I evolve into a kind of somewhat bitter, twisted geriatric, and so we go. We have these identities. As Shakespeare says, one man in his time plays many parts. We have all these roles that we play. And the ego is happy for us to do that, keep creating another false identity and never accepting the truth that we are as God created us. We are as this pure formless awareness created us, and we are nothing else, because that creation is perfect. And if we try and mess with that at all, then we are making it imperfect. And we are changing our own minds about ourselves. And we're creating all this distortion and imperfection and lack where it doesn't exist in truth. So these 4 points are quite pertinent, because it is actually what we've done, seemingly done. Okay, so any further thoughts on that? Any questions, or shall we move on to number 2? So you've read that already. Katie's not with us, so I'll read. These related distortions represent a picture of what actually occurred in the separation, or the, quote, detour into fear. None of this existed before the separation, nor does it actually exist now. Everything that God created is like him. So everything the pure formless awareness created is like itself. Extension is undertaken by God. Extension is undertaken by pure formless awareness, perfect love, is similar to the inner radiance that the children of the Father inherit from him. Its real source is internal. And the children of the Father, I'll just retranslate that whole thing. So extension is undertaken by pure formless awareness. It's similar to the inner radiance. Extensions of the source inherit from it. And that's what we are, extensions of the source. Its real source is internal. This is as true of the Son as of the Father. This is as true of the extension of love as of the source of love. In this sense, the creation includes both the creation of the Son by God and the Son's creations when his mind is healed. So this is as true of the extension as of the, in this sense, the creation includes both the creation of the Son, of the extension by pure formless awareness, by perfect love, and the extension's creations when his mind is healed. I suppose you could make it its, actually. You could say its, because extension just removes the gender. So this requires love's endowment of its extension with free will, because all love in creation is freely given in one continuous line in which all aspects are of the same order. Okay, so a bit of unpacking there. Does that make any sense to anyone?
Yeah.
Okay, can you give us a summary? What's he saying there? The 1 minute summary in other words.
Yeah. Trying to keep my eyes open. It's the way that it came across to me as a repetition to an extent about the illusion. You're not separate from God, from pure formless awareness, because you created like Him, and any extension of Him, any child, any offspring, extension, I suppose, coming down, has exactly the same characteristics because it's inherent. It's the same source. It's a part of the same thing. There's no separation. I think that's probably what I can.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good summary.
I keep it short, yeah.
But how can the extension of this essence, this presence of love, pure formless awareness, how can that be different?
How can it be different? Yeah.
From its source? It doesn't make any sense that it would be different. If its source is like that, then it would be like it too. And of course, the ego has just come and said, no, it is different. You are not different from your source. And that is actually an impossible belief. Which, from that belief, we've created a very impossible world. Because it's a faulty logic. And you understand, number 8, this requires God's endowment or love's endowment of the Son of its own extension with free will. Because all love in creation is freely given in one continuous line, which all aspects are of the same order.
No, I'd need to go through that again.
Okay. Ayana, any thoughts on that?
That yes, there is the eternal oneness in pure love's extension, as in the original pure love. However, there is free will as well.
It's interesting. He's talking about free will, and does he mean the ability to choose, or does he mean that your will is totally free in God, that it's in this infinite kind of expanded state? All love in creation is given freely. It's freely given in one continuous line, which all aspects of the same order. So this, free will, which is God's will, love's will, is totally unlimited. There are no limits, and there's no lack, and there's no scarcity or any kind of limitation or border or boundary on that. And so
I think that's the correct translation. Yeah. I think that's the correct translation for this stage of the miracles, that is as free and as expansive as original source energy. Yeah. And
so it's not applying free will in the dualistic sense of, I have the free will to now decide and do the opposite of God.
Yeah.
That's often how we think of free will. Okay, well, I have choice. Free will is choice. And this is pointing us to truly free will means my will is totally free. I don't have choice. Because if you think about it, choice is a limitation. Choice is a limitation. There's now 2 things to choose between. So now I have seemingly limited options. It's this or it's that. And if I choose one, then I don't have the other. And so now I'm out of free will, where there's no choice, and I'm into an illusion, which now I seem to have duality going on in my mind. And this is, one of the primary philosophical questions: do we have free will, or is it destiny? And in truth, in non-dual truth, there is no choice. It's just your will is totally free as God's is. There's nothing to choose between. There's only oneness.
Yeah.
So free will, just the dualistic idea of free will just drops away. Really, it's not in that. It's not in pure formless awareness. And so that's what he's talking about here.
Right.
That we have exactly the same characteristics as our source. Therefore, we are the same.
Yeah.
One and the same. Okay. So, number 3. Any questions on number 2? You good with that?
That's good.
Yeah. Number 3. Iona, if you want to read that for us.
The Garden of Eden, or the pre-separation condition, was a state of mind in which nothing was needed. When Adam listened to the lies of the serpent, all he heard was untruth. You do not have to continue to believe what is not true unless you choose to do so. All that can literally disappear in the twinkling of an eye, because it is merely a misperception. What is seen in dreams seems to be very real. Yet the Bible says that a deep sleep fell upon Adam, and nowhere is there reference to his waking up. The world has not yet experienced any comprehensive reawakening or rebirth. Such a rebirth is impossible as long as you continue to project or miscreate. It still remains within you, however, to extend as God extended his spirit to you. It still remains within you, however, to extend as pure formless awareness extended its spirit to you.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, this is your only choice, because your free will was given you for your joy in creating the perfect. Yes, right. This is the only choice.
Mm.
There is no duality. There is no one or two here.
Mm.
Oh.
So your free will is to be as free as God is in this perfect love, pure formless awareness state.
Yeah.
It was given you for your joy in creating the perfect, so you can experience perfection and the joy of that. And if you deny that, then that's not really free will. That's imprisoned will. The ego is going to convince you, oh no, this is free will because I've got choice and this is nice. But it's not nice, because if you have a choice, you can get it wrong, as we know.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, am I going to make the right choice here? Am I going to get this wrong? Am I going to get it right? What's going to be the outcome? We have uncertainty, and so choice implies uncertainty of outcome, and that engenders fear. All of which is a limitation on pure formless awareness. It doesn't exist in that state. You understand what he means by the Garden of Eden, or the pre-separation condition?
Yeah, it's always been a wonderful allegory, hasn't it, for the perfection, the oneness. That is the I am, isn't it? That's the oneness.
Before the thought of separation ever entered the mind.
Yes.
Pre-separation condition, in which nothing was needed. There's nothing that's needed.
No.
Needs come from a denial of your source.
Yes.
We invented them because we feel like we're lacking.
And then there was the fall of man, and the deep sleep.
Yeah, I love that. That's a classic line.
Yeah. And
Deep sleep fell upon nowhere's the references waking up. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, true.
So from that point onwards, it's all illusion.
Yeah, it's all a dream.
The world has not yet experienced any comprehensive reawakening or rebirth. Such a rebirth is impossible as long as you continue to project or miscreate. Okay, so projection is miscreation. You're using your mind incorrectly to create illusions instead of truth. But it still remains within you to extend as God or love extended his spirit to you. So as you were given love freely, so you can give, because that's how it works. If you are that presence, then that's all you can do. It just gives freely. And in reality, this is your only choice. Because your free will was given you for your joy in creating the perfect. So in extending this love and experiencing it, you then experience the perfection that you are. You create the perfect. So it's language. You're not really creating anything new. You're just accepting what you are. That's what creation is. You've already been created. You already are that. Now accepting it as the truth, as what you are, then he'll use the language to say we're creating the perfect. When in fact you're just becoming aware of the perfect. You're becoming aware of what you really are in truth.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And interesting. He says such a reawakening or rebirth has not yet happened, but I think we're in it. I think this is it. Comprehensive reawakening or rebirth on a scale that's never been seen before on this planet is underway, and that's quite exciting.
Yes,
it's about as good as it gets on this planet, because you think about the many ages when the world was asleep and in darkness, and now finally we're at the point of reawakening or rebirth for many people. And of course, it doesn't matter what anyone else chooses, because there will always be people who choose to remain asleep. What matters is that you choose it.
Yeah.
You're part of this reawakening or rebirth. And I would safe to say that we all are, otherwise we wouldn't be here.
No.
We wouldn't be speaking. So it's we are the chosen ones by our own choosing. We choose ourselves because we choose to spend time like this and interact on Zoom when most people are watching TV or doing something else. So studying A Course in Miracles is not a mass pursuit. It's never going to be mass entertainment, is it? Because it's quite challenging. It's like, okay, well, what does this actually mean? And I've really got to think about it, and I've got to do some inquiry, and the language isn't that easy, and so on. Okay, so do you want to read, Richard, if you can read number 4 for us, please?
All fear is ultimately reducible to the basic misperception that you have the ability to usurp the power of God. Of course, you neither can nor have been able to do this. Here's the real basis for your escape from fear. The escape is brought about by your acceptance of the atonement, which enables you to realize that your errors never really occurred.
Okay, you forgot to retranslate.
Okay.
So do paragraph 1 and just translate it. Sorry, sentence 1 and translate it.
All the fear is ultimately reducible to the basic misperception that you have the ability to usurp the power of pure formless awareness. Of course, you neither can nor have been able to do this. Here's the real basis for your escape from fear. The escape is brought about by your acceptance of the atonement, which enables you to...
So instead of atonement, say at-one-ment.
Yeah, at-one-ment. Oh, sorry, I thought I was going to just read it and then go back. Acceptance of at-one-ment, which enables you to realize that your errors never really occurred. Only after the deep sleep fell upon Adam could he experience nightmares. If a light is suddenly turned on while somebody is dreaming a fearful dream, he may initially interpret the light itself as part of his dream and be afraid of it. However, when he awakens, the light is correctly perceived as the release of the dream from the dream, which is then no longer accorded reality. This release does not depend on illusions. The knowledge that illuminates not only sets you free, but also shows you clearly that you are free.
Okay.
The knowledge that illuminates not only sets you free, but shows you clearly that you are free. Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense. Anything stand out for you there?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Enables you, the mind blows. This enables you to realize that your errors never really occurred. So that the atonement or that one-ment.
Well, I was looking at that, the escape. I think that's the important part. The escape is brought about by your acceptance.
Simply recognizing that this never really happened, which is a mind blow. Okay, it never really happened. My entire life, the world, the universe, the entire construct of separation never really happened. Although it seemed to have happened. I seem to be very much in it and living in a body and in a separate world. This is saying, in truth, it never really happened. So my errors never really occurred. I'm not really here. The whole thing is undone, and I'm back in pure formless awareness. And our lives here are just a journey of accepting that. That's all. Just accepting that profound truth. Not just intellectually on a theoretical level, but really feeling it, that is true. And that you really get that on a deeper level, and that heals your mind. Your mind is peaceful and calm and tranquil because you simply say none of these errors mean anything. You see how this relates to the lesson. Nothing I see means anything. Because if it never really happened, then it doesn't mean anything. So errors never really occurred. Yeah. And he talks about the light and the knowledge that illuminates, not only sets you free, but also shows you clearly that you are free. Taking us back into the light, which is just your true awareness. Okay. And number 5. Iona, I think, do you want to do the honors?
Whatever lies you may believe are of no concern to the miracle, which can heal any of them with equal ease. It makes no distinctions among misperceptions. Its sole concern is to distinguish between truth on the one hand and error on the other. Some miracles may seem to be of greater magnitude than others, but remember the first principle in this course. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. In reality, you are perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. These can be from yourself and others, from yourself to others, or from others to you. Peace is an attribute in you. You cannot find it outside. Illness is some form of external searching. Health is inner peace. It enables you to remain unshaken by lack of love from without and capable, through your acceptance of miracles, of correcting the conditions proceeding from lack of love in others.
Hmm. Do you want to give us a little summary of that?
Whatever ego ideas I may invest in doesn't affect the miracle, which can shine away any ego diseased idea.
Hmm.
There's no size of difficulty for a miracle to just shine away the error in my thinking.
Hmm. A miracle is actually a correction. So if you apply the idea of correction, there is no order of difficulty in correction. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's all easy. It's all achieved with equal ease.
Because it's a correction in belief, and that's a simple matter of changing belief. We have attached our minds to the physical, and we go, well, I've got a physical illness. This is not possible, that because these things take time and whatever. And that's actually not the case. We've seen it is possible to have instant healing. It really is. People have had experiences of sudden, instant, miraculous healings.
Yeah.
Where everything just, transforms. In Jesus's time, he was healing lepers and stuff. They didn't heal slowly. They healed straight away.
Yeah.
It was like instant, done. So it's possible. But again, we create the order of difficulty because we go, that's not possible according to the physical laws we believe in. Rather than saying, well, this love transcends all physical laws and there's nothing it cannot do. But you must believe in it. It can only operate if you have full belief. And then I like the last little bits where he says, you cannot find this outside. Illness is some form of external searching.
Yeah.
So you're searching outside of yourself. You are ill, even if your body's not ill. You're mentally ill. That's the desiring and the craving that the Buddha talked about. And health is inner peace. Health comes when you just accept that I am that I am. I have the presence of love that's in me. I don't need to go seeking because I already have it. And that enables you to remain unshaken by lack of love from without and capable through acceptance of miracles or of correction, of correcting the conditions proceeding from lack of love in others. So we remain unshaken and unshakable in this love that we are. If you really know that that's what you are, then there's no question. Why? If someone else is behaving with a lack of love, that doesn't mean that you don't have it. So you become invulnerable, unshakable in the face of lacks of love. And as I said this afternoon, the greatest demonstration of that was Jesus' crucifixion. It was like, I'm still love, even though you're attacking me and crucifying me. That presence is still there. And actually this seeming denial of love is meaningless. Enables you to remain unshaken, even in the face of such extreme lack of love, that people are actually attacking and trying to kill you, to remain unshaken and simply accept that love is still there, love is still present. Hence, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Forgive them, source of my being. Forgive them, love, because they know not what they do. And it's even in his dying moments, it's an acknowledgement of that presence, saying that it's still there. I'm still acknowledging you, source, Father, that in the presence of all of this seeming lack of love, you're still there and they have not gone. And so this can correct the conditions proceeding from lack of love in others. And if you think about what that crucifixion did, there was a major correction that that it did bring about. It brought about a very big shift in human consciousness, simply because he forgave. And that example of that, and then the resurrection, was such a powerful example for his followers that they went out and they taught this to the world. Whereas if he'd been bitter and twisted and gone, I curse you, you sons of the devil, and he's on the cross and he's saying that, it wouldn't have had the, wouldn't have had the corrective power that it did.
Mm-hmm.
So it was amazing, amazing lesson for all of us. Okay, so any other comments or questions on this paragraph? I think that brings us to the end of this particular section. So here's a challenge for someone, if you're up for it. Can you give me a 1-minute summary of the whole thing? What's like the key message here?
I was actually trying to remember which chapter it was and what the heading was. Now it's obviously up there.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I'm fading fast. I think I've faded already. I needed to just go for a quick walk.
Mm.
On the
I
passage.
saw that. Yeah, well, we pretty much finished. I don't know, can you give a 1 minute, like what's the key takeaway? What has he said here, really? Key message.
One love exists in me, in you, unshakable, invulnerable. The perfection was given, extended to me. There is no choice. It's here.
Yeah. Yeah. Good summary. A few lines. Because that is in essence what he's saying, with going into more detail and bringing in concepts like Adam and the Garden of Eden and but it's all just teaching devices. What he's saying, there's one love, you are that love, you extended as that love, and that's still what you are. And so you have this free will. That loving presence is your true mind, is your free will. And that's given to you. And really, it doesn't matter how much you deny it, you still are that.
Great.
The only thing it's missing is your acceptance of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so shall we leave it there? Let's do a little 1 minute closing or something. Richard, if you want to come back, just join us, say goodbye, and close out. He's gone walkabout in his place. Okay, so
I can't sit for so long. My legs just start getting cramps and sore and whatever. So I had to just
walk around. Okay. So yeah, just a quick 2 minute closing. Just take a nice deep breath in. Breathing in this loving presence, the very essence of love, which you can only feel grateful for. So feel that love and feel the gratitude for it, and for the session, and for the mighty companions who journey with us on this journey back to who we really are, back to oneness. Breathe that all in into every pore, every cell, every muscle, every part of your body, every part of your mind. And just try and accept it, that this is true. You feel the truth of this. There's no doubt in this moment that this is true, completely and wholly. So it is said, so it is done. And then you're going to exhale and have a sense of extending this oneness. Just extending outwards. You are the extension of it. And so you can extend the love outwards to everyone and everything you know, and everything and everyone you don't know. And you become an extension of this loving presence in this world. And that is your true function. That's your purpose, your only purpose. Just to extend love and allow it to show you how that looks for you. It's going to show up in different ways and different forms. But you just allow that to happen, guided by this loving presence we call the Holy Spirit, always and in all ways. So it is said and so it is done. And notice how you're feeling now. Just try and lock this energy in, stay in it for the rest of the evening and on into tomorrow. So it is said, so it is done. And open your eyes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that, and I hope you did too. I hope you have a very good sleep when you get there, and see you tomorrow. Join us tomorrow afternoon. Iona, same time. Rich, tomorrow evening, if you can make it.
Thanks, great, Jono.
Yeah. And let me just stop the recording. Have a